This story would begin on the planet of Zeno-sama. Being the king at all, he was bored, and in the same way he'd realize all the progress the universes had created.
Daishinkan, I don't have any purpose, because even though I've got unlimited power, there's nothing I could do to take away how bored I am.
I understand, my lord, but you're the pillar of the 18 universes. You can't have such thoughts, because if thanks to you all the 18 universes were able to prosper, you were able to create the first life form.
You and I even created simultaneously, but even though my power is higher than yours, your ability on the battlefield's incredible. You've been called my guardian and protector.
Indeed, my lord, since you have unlimited power to create life in each of the universes, or rather, you're able to divide the entire infinite vast 18 universes and grant them life, while I have physical prowess on the battlefield.
You're right, but how do we unite our powers? I want to create a warrior who's perfect. A being who has combat capabilities that you have, as well as possessing the almost infinite reserves of my power.
To be honest, I doubt a body being able to have that power, let alone our combined power. That's kind of crazy, my lord.
You don't understand, Daishinkan. We are not going to request a body of any god or mortal. We'll create this powerful being from the beginning.
You're giving me an idea that we'll create a new individual from our combined genetics, so that they could have both of our abilities.
Right. I'm sure we'll have a perfect warrior. We won't have a being that would do something against him, or even in the distant future, a super warrior that threatens to put my creation at risk. Our successor will defeat him.
I don't know if we're capable of creating a warrior with those capabilities, but if that's what you wish, my lord, you know you can count on me. Let's do it.
Because of this, Daishinkan and Zeno-sama would look at each other, beginning to channel a little of their energy to a specific point. As time passed, they injected more, and a small being would form in the middle of that power, while also they were able to absorb the power that was being released by the subjects. In this pose, they spent about 2 months. Thanks to the fact that Zeno-sama's energy was almost unlimited, that's not a problem, while Daishinkan was beginning to pass on all his knowledge about the fights and types of combat. I've been able to transmit all my knowledge regarding the battlefield, since that's where I have experience as well as knowledge. It's only necessary for this being to be believed, and that requires much more power on the part of Zeno-sama. Zeno-sama's eyes would light up. With more power being able to be perceived in that place, a great aura would rise, and on this occasion, a new warrior was created by Daishinkan and Zeno-sama, and thanks to this, his power was unmatched despite only having a few hours of life. My lord, apparently we were able to succeed, and as we were able to create a new being, and despite having a few hours being born, his power is incredible. That's right. We believe it, and if it's not for my energy reserves, have decreased to incredible levels. I guess this baby has great power.
I'm right with you, lord, but we have to rest. We have to regain our power.
Of course. We'll need to rest. I'll leave my guardians guarding the baby. When we already recovered all our power, we'll give him a name. But we'll have to think about that later. That's how Daishinkan with Zeno-sama retired to their rooms. While both were able to protect the little boy, in a few hours the power of that warrior would grow. At first it wasn't something noticeable, so the guardians didn't notice, but after a few hours, the body, which was small, already was that of a 5-year-old, which would leave them surprised, thinking that they were hallucinating.
What's happened? This baby grew up in a few hours? That's impossible. No, you're making a mistake, since that was his size. There's nothing to worry about. Since only Daishinkan and Zeno-sama, the first creations of everything existing, created their definitive shape.
After a few days, the baby's body grew even more. Both guardians came to check on the baby, but they'd be sent flying by a huge blow, which he wasn't able to dodge. The other guardian, on a somersault, was able to dodge it, but despite that, his cheek was scratched. He would take a bit of a distance, and a great silver aura would rise over the palace. While incredible pressure would keep them on their knees, they were surprised by the power that was released by a simple being that was only born 5 days ago.
How was he able to unleash that power? I understand the great Zeno-sama is great in power, but the power of a king at all is not easy to master. We must stop him. If he continues like this, he might even explode.
Both guardians rushed the warrior with the intent of stopping the energy release. No matter what their efforts were, they couldn't do anything. Who was able to dodge their blows as if it was nothing. This time, the power that it gave off would treat Zeno-sama's guardians as worms. The warrior gave a great roar and would make everything tremble. It was so powerful that it made the dimension that Daishinkan and Zeno-sama were resting in rumble. It was incredible, because these dimensions were in alternate dimensions, which didn't allow the powers of the 12 universe to sit in those places. But despite being from another dimension, a great pressure would fall on both warriors.
Whoa, whose pressure is this? Even though it can move, I'm sure one of the other angels were able to do something against him.
I can't believe the pressure that's falling on me. I feel like my whole body's shaking, because my body's not designed for combat.
Daishinkan with Zeno-sama would return to the palace. The moment they arrived, they were surprised by the warrior with a lot of fur over their body, with one of the guardians being held without difficulty. Since the guardian threw punches and kicks, but no matter how powerful they were, he wasn't able to do anything.
Stop! I don't know who the hell you are, but if you continue with that attitude, we'll have no alternative but to end you.
Of course, yes. Us being the most powerful beings in the 12 universes, you better calm down. Otherwise, I'll stop you myself.
That imposing warrior without flinching would continue to suffocate the guardian, and despite this, Daishinkan would move at a huge speed against the warrior. Despite coming to the blind spot, the eyes of the warrior was fixed on him. Daishinkan, surprised but equally determined, would lash out a huge blow in vain, since the subject would appear on one side connecting a powerful kick, making him fall to the palace.
Wow, this can't be happening. I didn't think in the 18 universes there was a warrior with a much higher skill than Daishinkan.
One of the guardians was badly injured and vomiting blood, would approach towards Zeno-sama.
My lord, you gotta stop. That guy's not from our 18 universes. He's the warrior that you and Daishinkan created. I don't know how he developed, but he was able to reach the great level in a short period of time.
Zeno-sama would be surprised as the expectations he had about the warrior exceeded exponentially.
So that's why these great energy reserves, while his performance on the battlefield's unmatched.
Daishinkan, without knowing this was his creation, would stand up irritated and release a great power, destroying everything around him while the 18 universes shuddered by the power coming from his body. After the end of raising his power, he had a cold look, pouncing on the warrior. Despite the power of Daishinkan, he was able to dodge his blows, and the battle went on. The silvery glow of his eyes began to fade. While his movements were easier to predict, Daishinkan, taking advantage of this, would connect a powerful blow to his stomach, making him fall to the base of the planet, generating destruction for everything in his path.
I don't know who the hell you are, but I'm gonna end your life. No warrior's able to make me bleed and get out alive.
Daishinkan was through an incredible attack. An attack being centimeters from the warrior's body, destroying the great Zeno-sama, an act that left Daishinkan surprised.
My lord, how are you supposed to have this done? That guy's almost able to end the life of the Guardians. He even gave me battle.
I can't let you end the life of our creation, since that guy you try to eradicate's the baby that we formed with our powers.
Daishinkan would react with disbelief. He was about to end the creation both he and Zeno-sama created, both approaching this warrior, laying in a crater. Because of this, he'd be healed by the power of Daishinkan, and Zeno-sama watched everything happen.
While you heal our creation, I'll begin to restore everything destroyed in this battle. I want to know the limit of his power and his prowess on the battlefield to leave me surprised, because despite not having a week that we had created him, he was able to give you battle.
I agree, my lord. It's amazing that the skill you possess. I'm sure that no matter what the enemy that appears in the future, this warrior can face him and end all kinds of ambition.
Since that battle 2 months passed, Daishinkan with Zeno-sama would inform him how he created and was named as the prince of the entire divine kingdom, named Goku. In these 2 months, Goku's power consistently increased, which would leave everyone surprised.
Zeno-sama, I want to be able to travel through the 18 universes, since I have an eagerness to meet all the gods and angels, but I don't want to be told about my existence. But why don't you want us to tell of your existence? Is there a reason, or why? Please explain to us.
I don't want you to know about my existence or where I came from, because if you know what your creators, you'll treat me with respect, and what I want is to fight. So please, respect my decision. I promise not to do anything reckless.
It's okay, Goku, don't worry. We won't say anything about your existence. We won't even say that to any of the visited 18 universes.
Heh, thanks, Daishinkan-sama. In that case, I'll leave.
Goku would leave to the 18 universes, entering the main universe 18, which was the most powerful universe. And the essence that was perceived was more powerful than the others. Goku, arriving to the planet of the God of Destruction, would be surprised by the received beautiful goddess.
Who are you? And don't you know this is my territory? I'm the most powerful goddess of destruction of the 18 universes. You better go. So you're the most powerful goddess of destruction in the 18 universes. Surprises me because your appearance doesn't look like you're that powerful.
If Goku's mouth was closed by a powerful blow, it'd make him fall. Goku wasn't able to dodge the blow since he'd decreased his power to the level of an ordinary god of destruction. The power of the goddess of destruction, Sirius, was not ordinary, and this would realize Goku.
Nah, that hurt. Apparently this will be interesting. I hope you're ready because I have the power to face the gods.
Goku would access Ultra Instinct, while pressure would fall on Sirius's body. But Goku's surprise, his pressure was not able to subdue her.
Must confess, you have great pressure, but if you want to be able to do something, you better try harder, since we gods train all the gods, and because of that our bodies are trained to withstand great pressures.
The great pressure of Sirius would likewise be released by the entire battlefield, leaving Goku surprised, since her pressure was equally desirable despite that of being a goddess.
Wow, that's amazing! I never thought the gods of destruction would have this great pressure. He's been able to repel my pressure, but I'm just starting.
Meanwhile, on Zeno-sama's planet, everyone present would watch what happened from the energy sphere thanks to DAISHINKAN.
Wow! So Goku's able to face Sirius, the most powerful goddess of destruction among the 18 universes.
DAISHINKAN wouldn't say anything, he'd just observe everything happening. Meanwhile, returning to the battlefield, both of them would stare at each other while their auras were able to free themselves as they destroyed everything in their path.
What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.